Welcome into Gray Television's SEC Media Day craze as SEC coaches descend on Dallas for the first time in the event's history ahead of the 2024 college football season. It's going to be a whole new look as Oklahoma and Texas join the SEC. 16 teams and divisions are no more. This is actually the first time the event has been held in Texas and fourth time overall that it has taken place outside of Birmingham, Alabama. And that's not all. There's a lot that is different about the 2024 season. Let's start with the fact that Nick Saban has traded in his whistle for a mic. He is not a coach at SEC Media Days for the first time in almost 20 years after he retired last season. Washington's Kalen DeBoer is set to take over. And who is the top dog in this league? All questions we will cover right here on your SEC Media Day craze. Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers were on deck first. This is a team that fielded one of the best offenses in the country last year. However, Heisman-winning quarterback Jayden Daniels is gone, and it leaves the question of what will Garrett Nussmeier look like for the Tigers? Let's tap in with Baton Rouge.
All right, raise your hand if you have a question.
Coach will go straight down that center aisle on the near, right here on the end.
Head coach Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers are here. A pair of 10-win seasons and bowl victories have stabilized the program. So now the question is, are the Tigers really trending back towards their previous Joe Burrow glory? Or did LSU's most recent Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Jayden Daniels cover up some problems that will be harder to overcome in 2024? Whatever the case, year 3 of Coach Kelly is on deck.
This will be the most accountable football team that we've had at LSU. This will be a team that trusts each other at its highest level. And that has historically led to on-field success.
We've really bought into this championship culture mindset that we have this offseason in the building and even out of the building, trying to do things the right way, try to be good people, in the classroom, in the locker room, just walking past somebody on the street. I think all of that accumulative, it just builds this culture that we're trying to build. We have such a great core and great group of leaders that, all work together. We all have each other's back. Hopefully be able to continue to build on it into fall camp and build something special.
LSU now truly makes the transition from Jayden Daniels to Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback. Nussmeier has been nicknamed the Nuss Bus by fans in previous seasons, but when speaking about him here Monday, Coach Kelly preferred to mention a car.
When you're the number 2, it's kind of like a rental, right? You don't care if you ding it up or, you get a dent here. Well, maybe you guys do. But you're not as careful, I guess, right? But when you own the car, there's a sense of pride. You're very thoughtful in everything you do, and you can see that transformation with Garrett and everything that he does in terms of he's waited for this opportunity to drive this car, and nobody is going to mess with it. Not one player is going to take away the opportunity for it to be successful. And that is why this level of accountability that I talked about is so high, and it's so transparent. He's not afraid to call somebody out if they're not doing it the right way.
LSU's defense definitely prevented the Tigers from accomplishing anything special last year, but LSU is now excited about their new defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, and how he will utilize junior linebacker Harold Perkins.
It's a joy working with Coach. To be honest, he's a great guy. I know he wore cleats practice. So when I ran across him and I saw him with that the first time, it was a go for me because he loved working. And it's never a dull moment with him. And the process has been great. I've been loving it.
At SEC Media Days in Dallas, Jacques Doucet, WAFB 9 Sports.
It will be year 3 under Brian Kelly as the Tigers try and clinch a spot in the 12-team playoff. Meanwhile, USC is intriguing. After 2 seasons of winning, the team was sent back to reality. So what will the Gamecocks look like in 2024? Let's hear from our correspondents in Columbia.
Hello, everyone. Rick Henry along with Julia Westerman. The Gamecocks finished 5-7 last year, the third season under head coach Shane Beamer. This year, they're looking to get the Shane train back on track.
And they're not afraid to talk about what happened last year, but they're ready to shift the narrative. Beamer says he really likes this football team, but he knows that not everyone shares that same feeling.
We're going to be picked low whenever you guys do your preseason projections. We'll be picked, 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th, I'm sure, at the end of the week, which is fine. I get it. We lost a high draft pick in Spencer Rattler, quarterback. We lost Xavier Legette, a first-round draft pick. It's easy to look and say, well, they struggled last year in some ways, and they lost their quarterback and their best receiver. So they're not going to be very good. I think that's a very lazy way of thinking, in my opinion. No one talks about the players that we do return and the experience that we have, but it is what it is. I mean, we worry about what we can control. I'm not going to go into the first team meeting this year and put up y'all's projections for the team, and they think we're going to be 13th. We know what kind of team we have. I came here in 2021, Jordan, and there was a national columnist that said the ceiling of this team in 2021 was 2 wins, and we, tripled that. And I just know we've got some great young men on this team that are extremely hungry. I get it. We play in the toughest conference in America. It's extremely competitive. We get to play that schedule, but everybody in the SEC plays, a tough schedule. But I know what kind of young men we have on this team and how hungry they are to be really, really successful and realize. I think the biggest thing is just our guys realize we're not that far off. That video came out over the weekend, and it's true. I mean, you look back at some of the games last year that could have gone either way, and it's a play here, play there, but that's college football. I mean, it's not just us. Anybody in America can say that, but key for us is just going to be understanding why those plays did not go our way last season and make sure they do, go in our favor this year.
You never like to see stuff like that, but I think, the older I've gotten and the more I've seen certain things through the media, I kind of just brush it off the shoulder. Nobody's in the building with us. Nobody's there when we're working out. Nobody's there when we're in film studies. So I can never take it with too much.
South Carolina's season gets underway on August 31st when the Gamecocks host Old Dominion, but then it's right into the SEC slate. They travel to Kentucky in week 2.
They need to get off to a good start. They need to go 1-3 in those first 4 games, because still to come, they've got teams like Oklahoma and Alabama. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Rick Henry, Julia Westerman from Media Days CRAZE.
Teams are down. We have 2 more to discuss, but before we get to that, coming up next, we're going to show you the best from our live stream earlier at SEC Media Days. That was packed with interviews. Who's going to join us? Find out next. In addition to the chaos of SEC Media Days, Gray Television is hosting a 2-hour live stream every single day. It is packed with interviews from local affiliates, media personalities, and much more. Let's go to the best of Monday's stream. Welcome back to your Gray Television Media Day Craze. I am joined now by John McDavid, SEC coordinator of all the football officials. You got the big job tasked. Spent many years officiating. Tell all the conferences you've been a part of, your history of just how you ended up here with the SEC.
Well, good afternoon, Bailey. Thanks for the opportunity to talk with you today. I played college football and through an injury, not in any big football program, but through an injury, my career was over before my junior year even started. And my senior year, I was doing a variety of things on football Saturdays to earn some extra money. And one of those things was a ball boy during the game. And during one of those games my senior year, I said, you know what? When I'm done here and I fly back to Southern California to go start my career, being an official might be a great way to stay close to the game. So that's exactly what I did. I started my officiating in 1989 in San Diego. I was working high school and junior college football out in in California. California doesn't really have a lot of D2, D3 programs. Junior college football is the big thing out there. I moved from the Big East over to the SEC. My last year in the field was 2019, and the reason it was my last year in the field after the 2019 season, the position of coordinator for Southeastern Conference football became open. I had some individuals talk to me that maybe I would be interested in doing that because it wasn't obvious to me at first that that's what I wanted to do. And next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Next thing you know, I'm a commissioner. I'm a coordinator of officials for the SEC.
How much does all this college football realignment really, if it even does, influence the bowl game, so to speak, and at the end of the year, especially with the 12-team playoff coming into play? I mean, Greg Sankey was actually pressed on it today about, 16 teams is today and tomorrow, but is that to tomorrow or what's to come, because the college football landscape is changing so much? How much do you anticipate, the bowl games to change in the future with how much is?
Yeah, we'll learn a lot over these next 2 years. We're still in the last 2 years of our 12-year contract. So this year we'll host a quarterfinal, which means the top 4 conference champs will get byes. More than likely, we're probably going to get the ACC champ, but we'll learn a lot.
Miss is one of the more intriguing teams in the SEC. Lane Kiffin has added 65 transfer portal athletes in the last 3 years. Add that with a cupcake schedule, and it could be a recipe for something special in 2024. Let's get the latest on the Rebels.
Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels walking into SEC Media Days this year with a lot of swagger and a lot of confidence. The Rebels walking with their swagger and confidence because they're coming off the season where they won a program record 11 games. One of those wins coming in the Peach Bowl where they absolutely destroyed Penn State 38-25, and a lot of good players off their squad coming back this year, including quarterback Jackson Dart. Dart throwing for nearly 3,400 yards last year, 23 touchdowns and a school season low 5 picks in the backfield. The Rebels losing Quinshawn Judkins, but they're going to be riding a Bentley. Ulysses Bentley the fourth. His top receivers coming back. Trey Harris, the top tight end. Cade Prescorn is coming back. We know Ole Miss has that offensive line that's extremely experienced, doing a lot of good things. And that defense, that Ole Miss Rebels defense kind of struggled last year, but what Lane Kiffin did, he went into the portal and plucked some good players. So their defense should be even better. So people are saying that Ole Miss should be even better than 11-2.
We're excited about the season coming up, and you know, our guys have done a really good job this summer and working hard, and it's an exciting time, great schedule, and just, you know, ready to keep working, and just excited about our opportunity and our collection of players, and we've got a long ways to go. It's more just about the process of the daily work with our players and getting them better, and I do think we have a really good collection of players that decided to return, including all 3 that are here today, that had a chance to, you know, go to the pros, and then, you know, they were able to add some really intriguing portal pieces to that. But again, there's a lot of work to do, and all those expectations and stuff out there, those mean nothing. Played some good defense here at times, and had good D-line play. I don't know that anybody would say we've been dominant. You know, maybe a game here or there, but for a continued amount of time, and there is the potential on paper, you know, for that to be a really strong group. But again, that as the whole team, but maybe as much as anybody, any position has a lot of work to do, and it's got to come together and play really well. And because obviously, if that position group's playing really well, it completely changes the whole game. So that would be really exciting for them to develop the way that we would hope. I do really like that we have length on defense. You know, we've really, even though we've had some good players on defense, in general, I have felt like when we played the upper echelon teams, we've kind of been the smaller, shorter team. And I do think that really on offense too, we've increased length and have length from returners, but defense increased that. And, you know, now we got a lot of work to do and got to play really well and all that stuff, but I guess we look better coming off the bus now.
Now prayers for the Kiffin family. Lane losing his father, NFL coaching legend Monty Kiffin, over the weekend. Ole Miss starts the season August 31st at home against Furman.
Yeah, I think Coach Kiffin is the best offensive mind in college football. You know, his ability to adjust mid-game, being able to adjust on the fly is unlike anything I've ever seen before. He's just super gifted that way. And at the same time, he's somebody who can really form and mold an offense based on his personnel. He doesn't run the same offense every year. He bases it off his personnel and being able to put his team in the best situation to succeed. And I've grown and learned so much from him, and I'm very grateful to be able to play under him. And I think from a team standpoint, you know, I kind of mentioned it in my opener, just, you know, we bring in a lot of talent through the transfer portal, and we're able to retain a lot of guys. But, you know, talent doesn't make a team. So we got to continue to grow together and develop our culture.
Challenges is definitely the contact. You know, every single day is guys going as hard as possible. And, you know, everybody's out there trying to make a name for themselves. But the best thing for sure is definitely the fans and the interactions with the fans. You know, whenever you go out there for the first time and you see and you hear the crowd roar, it's not words to even describe it. And, you know, I'm super stoked for the season this year. I'm just ready to get going.
Never a dull moment with Kiffin leading the way. We are not done with day one. Clark Lee revamping his staff and hoping of changing the tide. We're going to check in next with Nashville. Vanderbilt has not had a winning season in the last 10 years, and Clark Lee has ousted his staff and hopes to make the Commodores more competitive in the 2024 season. So what will this team look like? Let's head to Nashville for some intel.
Just like their stadium, Vanderbilt football is going through a remodel. Following a 2-10 season, the Commodores made some major changes to their staff and roster this offseason. Now that has to turn into wins in 2024.
2-10 is awful. It's not okay. And so coming off the field after UT, we just knew we needed to do everything and anything in our power to change that. And we have. Workouts are going better than they ever have.
This is a season of change for us. And I think there's something that's empowering about the decisions we made back in December and January to strengthen our team. And that includes overhauling some of our systems, the transformation of our roster, the influx of new talented, proven players, combined with the development of our team that remained and that chose to remain in a weight room led by Robert Steiner, who's done an incredible job here in 7 months, physically transforming our team, added with the addition of Tim Beck and Jerry Kill and the new coaches. I hired Tim because he's proven to be able to run the ball. He had the number 14 rush offense a year ago, the number 12 offense in terms of yards per play. Those are both things that are important to us when we look at the measures of performance. Everything that I analyzed with Tim's performance measured up to what I was looking for.
We know what happened, and we're trying to make sure that it doesn't happen this year. So we know what we need to do, and we're going to work on it this summer to make sure that we're better for the fall. Winning this conference is hard, but that just makes it even more exciting.
From the coaching all the way to the players, you know, we brought 30, 40 new transfers in, all which add something new culture, new style of play, better players. And so you're going to be seeing a whole new Vanderbilt just with the style of play, the style of attack, and really just a whole new team top to bottom.
A lot of people ask me what game is circled on your list. I feel like every game is circled this year. I mean, we got a statement year for us. We got new blood in the program like y'all were talking about. So just going out there and putting in what we worked on this offseason and giving all we got, and we're going to look good.
Another wrinkle to add in, Clark Lee is now taking over the responsibilities of the defensive coordinator. The fourth-year head coach is getting a little bit more hands-on as he tries to right the ship of the program that he once played in.
Let's talk about this conference. I'm going to read what the consensus, I looked at a lot of preseason polls of what they were. I'll read them off to you, and then we'll just run into it. So Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, Mizzou, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. Is Georgia the team to beat this season?
I'd have to say so. It's hard to go against them, you know, what they've been able to do the past 3 years. And I think if you're going to win the SEC, it's one way or the other. You got to go through Athens and the Georgia Bulldogs.
You have to. Georgia, Kirby Smart trying to get his third national championship, in 4 years. Just look at the program he's built there. I mean, they're just playing some great football. I think the reason why they didn't win it last year because for some inexplicably they had trouble stopping the run. But they are the big dogs. They are the big boys on top right now, and everybody else has to look at Georgia and try to get through Georgia. So, yeah, they're definitely the favorite to me.
That's a wrap on day one. Day two will be jam-packed. Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Tennessee all set to take the stage. You'll want to join us to hear how Kirby Smart and the Dogs plan to remain a powerhouse in the SEC. But for now, from Dallas, I'm Bailey Burmaster. Make sure you join us on Tuesday for your SEC Media Day Craze.